Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Red Dead Redemption 2 video, we're going to be talking about a dark secret that the Valentine Doctor has that you just might not know about. So this is sort of building off of the dark and creepy secret that the Valentine Sheriff, Curtis Malloy, actually has, and I'm sure you guys might be aware of this. The Valentine's Doctor's office is one of the handful of store robberies that you can actually take part of in-game, and that's kind of part of the dark secret we're looking at today, but we're going to be explaining the why and the reason behind it. So once again, if you've never visited the Valentine Doctor before and you go towards the back, you'll actually notice that there is a steel door, a steel security door. And upon knocking on that door, you will get a rather rude greeting from someone on the inside who says, "What do you want? This is private. Get lost." Now, we don't know who says that, but now you can see on the screen it says you found a hidden operation at the business and you can now rob the shop's side business. Okay, that's kind of cool. So I'm sure you guys all knew about that. So this is what happens if you go to the Valentine Doctor and you inquire about the side business that he has.
Hey, put that damn gun down.
Let me into that back room of yours right now.
Sir, please. You don't want to get involved with them, I promise you.
You make them open up, or you're a dead man.
Hey, open up. It's me. I brought some food and whiskey for you fellers.
Yeah, it's only the doc.
Don't try anything funny.
Thought you were that cowpoke who bothered us earlier. Put it on the table.
Okay, so the doctor opens up the back and there's a couple of people inside. I think it's 3 or 4 O'Driscolls. And then this lady right here who seems innocent on the surface but then tries to grab a gun and ultimately take you out. So we now know who is running this side operation back here, and that is the O'Driscolls, the rival of the Vanderlyn gang. Now, once you actually arrive back here, there is a lot you can take, including the Schofield revolver. There's a ton of looting opportunities on the O'Driscolls, the money on the table, a lot of provisions that you would normally see in a doctor's office. There's also a safe as well, which we'll actually come back and check out a little bit later. There's a lot of interesting photographs on the wall. They either seem to be of nature or they seem to be of women. I'm not sure who they are. There's also a wanted poster for Benedict Albright, who is one of the bounties that you can capture in game. I'm not sure why this is here in this back room. Maybe the O'Driscolls in some way, shape, or form are connected to Benedict Albright. Again, not too sure what's going on, but there is a lot you can take from here. So we know that something is going on at the Valentine Doctor's office. And it kind of seems like the Valentine Doctor really didn't want to be involved in this business. You kind of heard when he answered the door, it didn't sound like he was in charge, but rather the O'Driscolls were just using his normal shop as sort of an undercover operation. Now, I'm not too sure what they were doing here, so I can only imagine it's some sort of crime syndicate or money laundering or something that needs to be run through a legitimate business so that it doesn't draw the attention of lawmen. Now, I also wanted to find out if there was anything interesting in that safe that you guys can find back there. The first time I visited, I did not have dynamite, so I actually went back with dynamite this time, and I tried to actually blow up the safe. Something you need to know about dynamite is really powerful indoors. Don't stand close to it. And number 2, the only thing that's inside is extra money. I think it was like $23 in total or something along those lines. So unfortunately, we didn't really learn anything all that new about the Valentine Doctor there or what exactly is going on here, but luckily we can. And this involves actually getting a letter off of the Valentine Doctor. So in order to do this, it is a little bit tricky because you can't really use weapons inside of the business unless you plan on robbing him, which is what we do not want to do, especially if you'd like to avoid, the sheriff and the lawmen coming after you. You kind of have to use the lasso outside and then bring it inside. It's a little bit tricky. Long story short, if you are able to hog tie the Valentine Doctor, you will get a letter or a document. It is letter to the doctor from Donal. I think that's his name. Donald, Donal, I'm not sure who it's supposed to be. But the message says this. It's a reminder letter from the O'Driscolls about a little misunderstanding. It says, "Dear Doc, our mutual friend Mr. O.D., which refers to Mr. O'Driscoll, told me to tell you how happy he was that we was all friends again, and that he really hopes that that little misunderstanding is behind us. He wants me to particularly remind you that friends don't go talking lies and nonsense about friends, but I assured him you knew that already. Anyway, me and all the boys hoped you and Mrs. C were doing swell. She looked mighty pretty in that yellow dress she was wearing when you ate dinner the other night. Your pal, Donal." So I'm not sure who Donal is, but I think we can assume from this instance or this note that he is a close friend of the O'Driscolls, likely a bounty hunter or someone along those lines, or like a henchman who does the dirty work for the O'Driscolls. Because what I think was going to happen here is the doctor wanted to get out of this situation where the O'Driscolls are using his back room for some sort of shady business. And the O'Driscolls found out about it, and they wrote him this letter. And to sort of threaten him, or to make sure that he doesn't do that, it sounds as if they are either spying on him or following him, because they described his wife and her appearance and how they went out to dinner the other night. So they are essentially threatening the Valentine Doctor and his family if he actually doesn't obey and if he doesn't allow them to run this side business in the back of his shop. Okay, so that is very, very interesting. So again, it kind of builds off of what I thought was the case here, in that the Valentine Doctor, I don't think really wants any part of the side business that's going on inside of his store. Unlike some of the other shop robberies that you can do, like the Strawberry General Store, that guy is intentionally, I think he's making like moonshine in his basement. He's doing that on purpose to sell it. Same with like the Rhodes Gunsmith. He like purposely captured that guy so that he can pretend he was his son. This is one of the few instances where I feel like the Valentine Doctor just does not want anything to do with this, but is sort of being forced. Now, we can get some extra lines of dialogue if we actually go back into this room. The doctor tells us to stay away, and we'll eventually hear from the people on the inside too. So I'm not going to lie to you guys, I actually wouldn't try this out for yourself just because it really doesn't seem worth it unless you really, really want that Schofield revolver, which at the beginning of the game is a nice upgrade from maybe a double action revolver or your cattleman revolver. But the reason I say it's probably not worth it is the money amount is so minuscule, and escaping, you're probably going to rack up a $40 or $50 bounty, which will basically negate all of the money you got. You'll have to pay it off. You'll have to, likely go to jail, serve some time there. So in my opinion, it's kind of not worth it, but it was cool to be able to understand and experience the backstory of what truly went on and what is going on at the Valentine Doctor's office. Now, this is kind of unrelated to the mystery of the Valentine Doctor, but one thing I did pick up on my journey today is something he actually said about Tommy. In case you guys don't know, Tommy is the big giant guy that Arthur fights in like one of the first few missions in Chapter 2, and Valentine like in the middle of the street. And we found out through listening to some conversations that he actually got some like brain damage. Well, the doctor actually confirms this. And this is something I was not expecting to hear, but before I ended up robbing him, this is what he had to say about Tommy.
Good morning, mister.
Howdy. New in town? Gum, candies, tobacco? All the good stuff are on the shelves behind my counter. Tonics and medicines are on the table over there. Everything else, you should see the catalog. Don't reckon there's anything more I can do for Tommy. Just one punch too many.
So again, it's kind of unrelated to the mystery we've got going on today, but this once again confirms that the Valentine Doctor did end up healing Tommy, or at least trying to help him. So I guess tying it to our story today, we know he's generally a good guy. And that kind of explains once again why he's maybe not so cool with the O'Driscolls hanging out in the back of his shop and doing what they're ultimately doing. But it kind of sounds like he's being extorted, threatened, and much more, so he really doesn't have a choice. But anyways, that's all the information that I've got for you guys in this video today. Hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to leave a like rating on this video. That'd be awesome. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily Red Dead Redemption 2 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.